certain currency unit to calculate and pay in foreign trade contract. First one, I want you to remember foreign trade contracts in Vietnamese, hợp đồng mua bán hàng hóa quốc tế. Foreign trade contracts in Vietnamese is hợp đồng mua bán hàng hóa quốc tế. But shortly, you can say sales contract. Sales contract. So from now, you can use foreign trade contract or you can use sales contract. They are all one and the same. Do you understand my meaning?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, okay, again, I say that they said that currency you need to calculate and to pay in the sale contract. It is the first thing you have to think about it. My question is, what is calculation currency and what is payment currency? They are the same or different? They are the same or different? If they are different, what happened to parties to the transaction? Now again, my question is, what is calculation currency and what is payment currency? The next question is, they are the same or different? The third question is, if they are the same, they are different, I mean that you use one currency to calculate and you use another currency to pay. So what happened to parties to the transaction? Okay, so now I think that you need 2 minutes to discuss, to think about 3 questions. And then after 2 minutes, you answer me and then we discuss about 3 questions. Okay? Is it clear for you when I raise 3 questions? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so 2 minutes for you. It is 9:48 in my time. So we will come back. I mean that you will answer the question at 9:50. Okay, now. Hello, hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Hello? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Yes.
Okay. So now answer the question, please. What is a calculation currency? What is a payment currency? I think that easy question, right? Because you have a handout. Based on the handout I sent to you, and you can answer the question easily. Answer the question, please. Raise your hands, please. I just saw Miss Hằng, but you lower hands so fast, so I cannot. Okay, again, please. Keep your hands, please. I saw maybe 1 minute. Oh, so crazy. I saw the hands of the man, but I cannot see the name. Wait for me 1 minute. Nguyễn Việt Thành, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think the calculation currency is used to demonstrate the unit price as well as the sales contract value to estimate and to measure the contract value.
Yes. Okay. So what? Very good question. What do you think about payment currency?
I think payment currency is used to pay off the sales contract, and it is the money currency to purchase the contract.
Yes. And they are same or different?
I think they can be same or they can be different. It's up to the contract.
Up to the contract or up to the parties?
Up to the party.
Yes. Okay, very good question. Thank you very much, Nguyễn Việt Thành. Can I mean that all of you, edit your name with the number first and then your name. For example, in the student list, Nguyễn Việt Thành has the number 45, for example, and then you edit your name 45 point and then Nguyễn Việt Thành. Easy for me to call your number when you raise your voice. Is that clear for you? Okay, thank you. And what about Miss Hằng? Maybe Hằng. I could not recognize the full name, but she raised the hands. So do you agree with Mr. Thành?
Yes, I have the same opinion with him.
100% same?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain in detail determines? Or maybe I change the question, make it easier. If you use two different currencies to calculate and to pay, what happened to you? What happened to you? I mean that parties. When you use two different currency in the contract, in the sale contract or in foreign contract. For example, you use US dollars as a payment currency and euro as a calculation currency. Ms. Hằng, please. What happened to parties if we use two different currencies? Imagine you are a seller or you are buyer. Because when I said parties, it means that more than one person, right? Party can be exporter, can be importer, or maybe commercial banks. Normally, we have two enterprises, two exporter, importer enterprises, and two banks, two commercial banks. So what happened to you if you use two different currency? And another question, Mr. Tang said that we can use only one currency to be a calculation currency as well as payment currency. But we also use two different currency. Okay, so now question is, if you use only one currency, is it good or not good for you? Only one currency. For example, you sign contract and you negotiate to use US dollars to be a currency to calculate the value of the contract, to calculate the unit of contract, and also to pay for the contract. Is it good or not good?
I think two currencies is good for the contract because it helps for two sides of the contracts to understand how to calculate the currency, the calculation currency.
You said two different currency.
Yeah.
What about your meaning? One is your currency and one is your partner currency, or any two currencies. For example, you are Vietnamese. Your partner is Japanese. And you sign contract, you sell the goods to Japanese importer. In the sale contract, you use two different currency. First one is US dollars. Second one is GBP, British pound, bảng Anh. Or you use Japanese yen and Vietnamese đồng. Can you explain in detail? What is your meaning?
I think that one currency is my country and
Currency.
Yeah, Vietnam is
Vietnam đồng.
Vietnam đồng, yeah. And the other currency is the partners.
That Japanese currency, right?
And we also have the third country's currency.
Yes, that's why. My question, I said that if you use two different currencies, what happened to you? Good or not good? Benefit to you or hardship for you?
I think it's not good enough.
I think that to answer the question, you should analyze two currency. What are the two currencies? If they are third currency, will be different from your currency. Do you understand my meaning? Japanese and Vietnamese use US dollars, use euro to be calculation currency and payment currency. Will be very different from you use Vietnam đồng or Japanese currency. Do you understand my meaning?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I ask you before because you in this case doesn't mean that Miss Hằng. You means all of you, all my students is in my class right now. So now I want you to remember, if we use two different currency, it doesn't matter your currency, my currency, or third currency. When we have two different currency, we have to remember the parties can face the risk because of exchange rate risk. Do you know that word? Exchange rate risk? Look at on the slide. Exchange rate risk, currency risk, exchange risk, FX risk. Can you see that on the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now what say in Vietnamese? Exchange rate risk, currency risk, exchange risk, FX risk. Đặng Hà, please.
I think exchange rate means tỷ lệ chuyển đổi, and exchange rate
In Vietnamese?
yes, in Vietnamese means rủi ro của tỷ lệ chuyển đổi.
No. I'm
Tỷ
so
giá hối
sorry.
đoái.
Exchange rate?
Tỷ giá hối đoái.
Okay. Exchange rate risk? Rủi ro hối đoái. You should write down the meaning of terms in Vietnamese, because in the final test, final exam, we have some kind of question. For example, what are they in Vietnamese? Okay, exchange rate, tỷ giá hối đoái. Exchange rate risk, rủi ro hối đoái. Sorry, rủi ro tỷ giá. Rủi ro tỷ giá, or rủi ro hối đoái, or rủi ro tiền tệ. They're the same. That's why we can use many different terms on the slide. Exchange rate risk, currency risk, exchange risk, FX risk. FX stands for foreign exchange risk. But why they don't use FE risk? Because when you pronounce foreign exchange like X, that's why they use FX risk. They don't use FE risk. Remember. Do you understand my meaning? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. So now, if you use two different currency, you can face exchange rate risk. There is a question you still you have not answered my question. The question is, if we use only one currency, do you face exchange rate risk? Do you face exchange rate risk if you use only one currency in the sale contract? Yes or no? Nguyễn Trung Khánh, please.
I think if we have only one type of currency, we don't have to face the exchange rate risk.
Are you sure?
Yes, because when we use two type of exchange currency, when you sign the contract, and when you receive the money, maybe the exchange rate will change, and maybe one side will pay more than the money that they have signed in the contract.
Okay. Before I analyze your answer, what's your name, please?
Nguyễn Trung Khánh ạ.
Trung Khánh, please remember, don't use exchange currency. We use foreign currency or currency. But if you use exchange currency, it doesn't work. Okay? So now, you said that parties to international transaction do not face the risk if they use only one currency, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now imagine you are Vietnamese, you contract and you use US dollars as a currency to be a calculation currency, simultaneously a payment currency. Okay? So now you said no exchange rate risk. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now listen to me. You sign contract today. I mean that 4th of May 2021, and you will pay in 3 months. In 3 months. I mean that in August. Okay. What do you think about exchange rate between Vietnam đồng, US dollars and Vietnam đồng at that time? Right now, about 23,000. I mean that $1 US is equivalent to 23,000 Vietnam đồng. But nobody knows about exchange rate, US dollars and Vietnam đồng in 3 months. It can be increased, also down, decrease. What happened to you at that time? I mean that in August, the currency US dollars is equivalent to 24,000 Vietnam đồng. Or decrease just 22,000 Vietnam đồng. Okay, now do you want to change your answer?
I think yes.
Okay, so your answer is right. If you use your currency, one currency, but it is your currency. Do you understand my meaning?
Yes.
So no exchange rate risk, but you use one currency. It doesn't mean that one currency means your currency. Hopefully, all of you understand my explanation. Okay? Anyone don't understand? Raise your hands, please. I think that's very clear, right? Right? Okay, so now come back. If you use your currency, will be very safe for you, right? No exchange rate risk. But look at Vietnamese situation. Normally we use foreign currency, but not our currency to calculate, to pay for the contract, right? Okay, so now my question, next question. List all currency that we often use in the contract, in the sale contract, foreign sale contract. I mean that the popular currency we often use. Okay, first question, write out please. List the popular currencies that we often use. I mean that Vietnamese exporter, Vietnamese exporter or Vietnamese importer, we often use in the sale contract. Also in theory, On the slide, you can see we can use exporter currency, importer currency, or third country currency like Mr. Tang and Miss Hang mentioned before. But in reality, we focus on some currencies. For example, we don't use Vietnamese đồng. We don't use Vietnam đồng. We don't use Kip Lao. We don't use real Cambodia real. We often use hard currency. Okay, so now write down some currency that we use popular. That is the first question. The second question is, what are the factors determine currency term? Why you don't use Vietnam đồng? Why you don't use Korea won? Why you don't use CNY? I mean the Chinese yuan. Why we often use US dollars? We often use HKD, Hong Kong dollars. We often use Japanese yen. We often use euro. We often use some. Okay, so why? What about the factors determine that currency term? Okay, 2 questions more. Okay, so now it is a 10:15, right? 10:15. 2 questions. So I think that 4 minutes for 2 questions. 2 minutes. Okay, answer the question, please. Tưởng Khánh Linh, please. Tưởng Khánh Linh, can you edit your name, please? Because sometimes it's not easy for me to know what is your name. Last name and first name I cannot recognize, so it's easier for me to call your number. Okay, please.
I will did it. So my answer is I think we will often use dollars, pounds, and sometimes francs, because the currency of this country dominate the world and are not devalued. And they are major export around the world. And sometimes they also the country that are member of World Bank. So I think the currency of that country also have high value.
Okay, you said currency of French.
French.
Yeah. What about the currency code?
Currency code. Is a one.
Currency code. For example, VND is currency code of Vietnam.
Oh. Wait a minute, I will sort it.
Yes.
The franc cost is CHF.
No. Okay, now look at on the slide. On the slide, we have some currencies. They are hard currency. Hard currency in Vietnamese, ngoại tệ mạnh. Ngoại tệ mạnh. Okay, now look at the content on the slide. This one, USD, they are the popular currency used in the sale contract. USD, I'm sure 100% of you understand this one, right? USD. EUR. EUR is common currency for France, for Germany, Belgium, Italy, Czech Republic, a lot of different countries. Euro. Next one is GBP, JPY, HKD, CHF. CHF is currency of Switzerland. Đồng franc Thụy Sĩ. Okay, so now there is no Vietnam đồng in this, no Kip Lao, no Ria of Cambodia. Okay, so now my question, why we have 3 capital letters for the currency code? Can you explain about the 3 capital letters of the currency code? What USD stands for, or what EUR stands for, or what GBP stands for, what Vietnamese VND stands for. Number 10, Phạm Tiến Đạt, please.
I think USD, the US stands for United States and D stands for dollar.
Yes.
Or-
In which language?
In English. And
In
Vietnam, VND means Vietnamese and Dong.
In
VND
English or Vietnamese?
and Dong is a unit currency.
Yes. In Vietnamese or in language or in English?
In Vietnamese language.
Okay. So now, can you explain? Look at this one, euro. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, my question. Listen to me, please. All of you, listen to me, please. Okay. Look back the time. About 1990, or maybe 1989. Germany used two different currency. I think that before 1989, there was two different country under the name Germany, West and East. Okay. So now at that time they used two different currency. I will send through the chat to you, to all of you. At that time there was two different currency. First one is GEM, and the second one is DEM. GEM is a currency of East Germany, and DEM is a currency code of West Germany. Okay, can you explain about the abbreviation? What GEM stands for? What DEM stands for?
I think GM stands for mark, the currency, and DM and GM.
GE stands for?
I really don't know. Maybe it's just a special case like in CHF, the Swiss currency. There are maybe special cases.
What a pity it is not a right explanation for GEM.
Yeah.
First two letter stands for the country in English. Nhật Thành, please.
I think the G letter stand for in English.
Louder, please. Stands.
East German.
Oh no. GE stands for Germany only. Without East or West here. Germany.
Really?
Yes. It is in English.
Okay.
They use English to create their currency codes. In English, German. And M stands for currency unit.
Mark.
In this case is mark. Yes. Okay. What about the West Germany? For West Germany, I mean that different country. West Germany, they use their language, I mean that German, to create their currency code. So if you know German, you know that DE stands for Deutschland. Deutschland is German. Deutschland means that Germany. Deutschland in German means Germany in English. Do you understand my meaning? like Thượng Hải. Vietnamese often say Thượng Hải, right? It is in Vietnamese, but in English, Shanghai.
Yeah.
Or Bắc Kinh, we often say Bắc Kinh. It is in Vietnamese, but Beijing is in English. So now, Deutschland is Germany, in German. They use their language to create their currency code. That's why, remember, we have many different principles to create the currency code. Currency code, C-O-D-E, C-O-D-E, ký hiệu tiền tệ, currency code, ký hiệu tiền tệ. Domestic currency code and international currency code. Ký hiệu tiền tệ quốc gia, ký hiệu tiền tệ quốc tế. For example, we use D is Vietnamese currency code, domestic currency code for Vietnam though, right? But in the sale contract, foreign sale contract, we use VND. VND is international currency code of Vietnam. Do you understand my meaning? Do you understand my meaning?
Yeah.
So when you use one unit, that is a domestic currency. When you use 3 capital letters, it is international currency code. Okay, so write down please. In international transaction, we use international currency code. International currency code. We don't use domestic currency code. Now, before we move to another content, I want you to remember, I want to remind you that in reality, we often use hard currencies, like on the slide. But in theory, we can use any, our currency, your partner currency, third country currency. But in reality, I mean that we often use hard currency for international contract, sale contract. We often use hard currency, but not weak currencies. Hard currencies in Vietnamese, đồng tiền mạnh, ngoại tệ mạnh. Weak currency, ngoại tệ yếu. We do not use weak currencies. We use hard currencies because hard currency will be safe for parties, because normally the exchange rate between hard currency and hard currency, or between hard currency and other currency, don't change too much. That's why it's safe for the parties. If you use weak currency, maybe today the exchange rate very high, but nobody knows what happened after 1 week later, or 2 weeks later, 1 month later, 3 months later. Nobody knows what happened. Is it clear for you? Hopefully you understand about first term, currency term. Okay, now we move to next You can use on the slide. I suggest you some way to use when you want to describe about the exchange rate. For example, you say GBP to euro exchange rate in Vietnamese, tỷ giá giữa đồng bảng Anh và đồng euro. Tỷ giá giữa đồng bảng Anh và đồng euro. You can say the GBP to euro exchange rate. When you describe about down or up, you can use, up or down, you can use increase, appreciate, or decrease. For example, you say the GBP appreciate against the euro. Đồng bảng Anh tăng giá so với đồng euro. Đồng bảng Anh tăng giá so với đồng euro. If you say the GBP appreciates against the euro period from contract date to payment date, in Vietnamese, tỷ giá đồng bảng Anh tăng giá so với đồng euro, so sánh ở cái thời điểm ký hợp đồng với thời điểm thanh toán. Okay, so you can use that for your exam. Okay, here is conclusion. That is a conclusion. It doesn't matter calculation currency or payment currency. I mean that it is right for all. I mean that for currency, calculation currency, and payment currency. Finished? Are you finished? Okay, move to the second content. It is term and condition of payment time. Payment time. Điều kiện và điều khoản thời gian thanh toán. Điều kiện và điều khoản thời gian thanh toán. Look at the content on the slide. We have 3 different payment time. Advanced payment, or assigned payment, or deferred payment. Advanced payment means that you make payment before delivery. Before delivery. For example, you agree to, you sign contract, and you and your partner agree that the goods will be delivered on 15th of May. But the buyer has to pay on 5th of May. 10 days before the time you ship the goods. That is advance payment. Advance payment. The second type is assigned payment. at sight payment. If at sight payment in Vietnamese, trả tiền ngay. So, at sight payment, there are many different types belong to the group of at sight payment. Look at on the slide. We have 4 different cases. They are all at sight payment. At sight payment. At sight payment. In Vietnamese, trả tiền ngay. Okay, now look at from number 1 to number 4. And then answer the question. Which one is the best for the seller? Among 4 cases, which one is the best for the seller? Which one is the best for the buyer? Answer the question, please. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Are you tired? Try your best. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, very clearly.
Okay. So, Nguyễn Việt Thành, please. Thành is very good student. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think the first is the best for the seller, and the fourth one is the best for the buyer.
Yes. Why? Your answer is right, but why you said that?
I think because it is the first one, the money comes sooner to the seller, and the last one, when the buyer receives the good, then they will pay the money for the seller only when they receive the good.
Yes. So, based on the time, so the buyer that doesn't need to pay earlier, right? They receive the goods first, and then they can check the goods, make sure that the goods are good. I mean that good condition, in good condition, no risk.
Let's roll.
But I said all of them belong to group of at-site payment. All are four cases are at-site payment. But in reality, trong thực tế, in reality, they often use number 3. Remember, they often use number 3. Number 3 is the best for both parties, buyer and seller, because number 3 can lessen risk for for the seller and also for the buyer. That's why number 3 is often used when we say at-site payment. But remember, number 3 is at-site payment. That statement is right. But if you say at-site payment is number 3, is wrong. Remember, number 3 just a popular case we often use. Okay, now we have break time. After break time, we go on to study chapter 1. Okay, see you in 5 minutes.
there you go, mate. Leave something Nice shooting. Congratulations, mate. Very good shooting. You got him. Top shot. Very good shot. Very nice. Very good. Nice shot, my friend.
Hello. Hello.
No.
Okay, now move to the third type of time payment or payment time. Time of payment or payment time are the same. The last one, the payment time is deferred payment. Deferred payment. It means you don't need to pay immediately. You have a time to prepare for payment. For example, 30 days after shipment goods, after shipment, or 60 days after BL date we studied before. So deferred payment is good for the buyer, but not good for the seller. Because actually the exporter faces the risk. What happened to the exporter when the importer refused payment on due date? Refused payment on due date. Of course, the seller faces the risk. Now, we have some question we need to discuss. Look at the 3 questions on the slide. Question number 1, which factors determine the type of payment? Why you use advance payment? Why you use SI payment? Why you use deferred payment? The question number 2 is, in which case should seller apply deferred payment? The last one is, in which case should buyer apply advance payment? In which case, imagine you are importer and I am exporter, and I say that I will sell the good to you if you pay me in advance. You agree? My question is, why you agree? Maybe in another case, situation. You say, no, Miss Hai, I'm sorry, I cannot pay you in advance. I will pay you 30 days after shipment. Okay, so now think about the question and then answer my question. Focus on, I think that first question you prepare yourself, but in the class, we answer in the class, we answer only one question only. So I think that we answer the question number 2. Question number 2, now you prepare for the answer question number 2. Number 1 and number 3, you prepare yourself. Okay, now focus on number 2. 1 minute for you to prepare. 1 minute. Okay, answer the question, please. Number 39, please. Bùi Ngọc Nhung.
So I think there's two cases that seller apply before payment. The first case is if there are so many sellers, so the supplier are high, then they accept for pay after you receive the goods. And case 2 is for some goods sell for season. For example, iPhone. When they buy iPhone 20
Plus
12, and in this year, and then they can accept for the buyer to pay after buy it, because the next year they will introduce another new product. Then the iPhone in this year will be out of date. Then they will sell them as fast as they can to gain the capital. Yes, it's 2K that I.
yes. Okay. Your answer is right, but was right. But I think that not enough. So I think that there are chances for other. I mean, for your classmate to add some reason that you should use. I mean that seller should use deferred payment when they sign contract. What about the others? Okay, Miss Ngọc Nhung, I have a question for you. Suppose that there are a lot of sellers, like you explained some second before, a lot of sellers, whereas just some buyers. But the buyer has very low reputation. Do you agree to use deferred payment?
In this case, I think that I will don't accept for deferred payment because their reputation is low. They may don't pay for me when they receive the goods.
Okay, that is one reason you can add for your answer. Okay, next. Suppose that importer has very high reputation. There are a lot of sellers, but the countries of importer, the country of the importer is risk, like a risk, country risk. Do you agree to use deferred payment? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
If the countries have risk like war or government institution is weak, I will not accept deferred payment.
Okay, so hopefully you and your classmates can finish the answer based on your answer, based on my suggestion. Is it clear for you? Is it clear for you? Yes or no? At least Miss Nhung. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
Now I want you to remember that there are many different reasons.
Yes.
Many different reasons that make you use assign, advance, or defer payment. It depends on the marketability, based on reputation of your partner, based on the level of the risk of the country, of the importer. A lot of different things. Also depends on the currency you use. For example, you know exactly in 3 months the currency will be decreased. Payment currency will be decreased. Now, I'm sure that you don't agree to use deferred payment, right? Okay, so I think that a lot of different things make me decide the payment time. Now we move to term and condition of payment place. For example, you use Vietnam, one bank in Vietnam, located in Vietnam. For example, Joint Stock Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam. We use abbreviation VCB, Vietcombank, yeah, VCB. But your partner say that I don't, sorry, just example. They say that no, I don't believe in Vietnamese banks. I want to use a foreign bank. For example, I use HSBC or I use a Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, so the question is, why should a payment place be chosen? Why we have to focus on that? Why you have to think about that? What's the difference between payment places? What's the differences? You use service of Vietcombank or you use service of Standard Chartered Bank. What's the difference? If you look at on the slide, you can see some suggestion. Choosing a place of payment depends on 3 critical points, right? First one is power of each party. I mean that who's stronger than the other. Method of payment and currency in payment. What else? What else? You can add some reason. Besides 3 reasons on the slide. Why you want to use services of Vietcombank but not Bắc Á Bank or but not An Bình Bank? What about the reason? In 1 year you finish, you graduate. Okay, Thảo Nguyễn, number 46, please.
I think because I choose VCB because of their high reputation.
Yes, so you say you choose because of reputation of the bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And what else? Number 39, and then Nguyễn Trung what? I cannot see the name. And can you add it with the number first? Number 39 first.
I think that it's due to the fee that the bank changed me. If it's high, then I will choose another possible. And another is due to the technology for the speech of transaction. If I want make transaction fast, then I can choose the bank that has high technology.
Yes. Your answer was right, but it seems conflict. For example, if you can do transaction very fast, normally the bank charges you higher than normal, right? Do you understand my meaning? You said that you don't want to pay higher fees, right? You want to do business with a bank who has a lower fee, right? But you want to do the transaction fast because they use modern technology. Yes, but if I have a good technology, of course, I never charge you a low fee. Do you understand my meaning? And do you agree with me?
Yes, but nowadays some banks are decrease their fee to gain more customer, and yes, if a bank have low fee and high technology that's fast and safe, I think that is best choice. But in reality, may not. It's impossible.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. What do you think? What do you think about the quality of services, of advice? Advice means that they suggest you what should you do, what you should do, what you should not do. What do you think about that?
I think that is It's also a factor that I choose the bank, but nowadays banks don't take responsibility for their advice. If their advice wrong, and there's no one to take responsibility for it, and it's one factor that I consider.
Yes, I agree with you that if the bank staff advise wrong, terrible, but it is very it is a seldom to have that case. I just want say that the level of advice between banks and banks, I mean that different, this bank and other banks, different in the regards of level. But I didn't think that you advise wrong or you advise right. Normally we advise wrong, right. But how many percent of the advice can be applied? Do you understand my meaning? How many percent of your advice will be effective? So, if it's very good quality, of course, for me, in my opinion, I will use their service. It depends on the customer. Yeah, maybe you care about the fees. I care about the quality of the service. You care about technology, but I care about the time, for example. So it depends on many different things. So from 3 different students' answer, we have a full answer, complete the answer. Okay, what about the student start with Nguyen something without number? Do you want to add something?
No, they already have my answer.
What's your name, please?
It's Khánh, Trung Khánh.
Okay, 23, okay. So thank you very much. Okay, now we move to the last one. Term and condition of payment. Payment instrument and method. Now on the slide we have 2 groups. First one on the left side is payment instrument. Payment instruments. In Vietnamese, phương tiện thanh toán. Phương tiện thanh toán. We have a cash, tiền mặt. We have check, set in Vietnamese. Bill of exchange, hối phiếu. Promissory note, lệnh phiếu. Payment card, thẻ thanh toán. We have many different payment instruments, and luckily we have a chapter 2. We study about international payment instruments. So we do not need to explain here. We will study in next chapter. What about the payment method? Payment methods. We have 4 main payment methods. Remittance in Vietnamese, chuyển tiền. Collection in Vietnamese, nhờ thu. Documentary credit in Vietnamese. Tín dụng chứng từ. Open account in Vietnamese. What is open account in Vietnamese? Who knows that? Open account in Vietnamese? Ghi sổ. Ghi sổ. I just said that we have chapter 3. Sorry, we have chapter 2 for studying payment instrument, and then we have a chapter 3 for studying payment methods. That's why we skip that. And now we move to the last part of the chapter 1, legal framework governing international payment transaction. There are a lot of legal framework, but time is limited. So we just focus on some legal documents. First one, we focus on Incoterms. Incoterms. In stands for international. Co stands for commercial and terms. As you know, we have 3 groups. They are preparing the presentation. It is very good for us to understand deeply about Incoterm 2020. But in the class, now I explain a little bit. I think that it is very important for you. Also, it is very important for the groups who do assignments. The Incoterm 2020 is the latest version of the Incoterm until now. What are the Incoterms? What are Incoterms? Yes, Incoterm or international commercial terms are a series of international sales terms published by ICC, International Chamber of Commerce, in Vietnamese, Phòng Thương mại Quốc tế, to divide tasks and responsibilities between buyers and sellers in delivery of goods. So, related to Incoterm 2020, you should remember some contents, some points. First one is a set Incoterm 2020. You can say Incoterms 2020, or you can say Incoterm 2020. Incoterm 2020 is a set of 11 trade terms used in contract for sale and purchase of goods. 11 trade terms, or you can say 11 rules. But in Vietnamese, they often use rules, quy tắc. In Vietnamese, they often say 11 quy tắc. But in English, they can use 11 trade terms or 11 rules. Remember, Incoterms in general, and Incoterm 2020 is a specific, is not allowed. Is not a law. Not a law. It means Incoterm just a legal, optional legal documents. Optional legal documents. It means parties to international transaction do not need to use Incoterms. Do not need apply Incoterms. If you use Incoterm, you have to state in the contract. For example, by the sentence that the contract is subject to Incoterms 2020 or Incoterm 2010 or Incoterm 2000, any version of Incoterm. Incoterm 2020 is guidance only. I guide the parties many different things and describe obligation. For example, who is responsible for transfer goods, who is responsible for buying insurance, okay? Many different obligations, risks and costs. Incoterms do not, I just said, do not automatically apply. If you say that you don't use Incoterms, instead you use another rules, you use another law, okay? You never based on Incoterms. So I mean that you must state in the contract that you use Incoterm. If you state subject to Incoterms, so Incoterm will be automatically applied. Incoterm do not determine payment term between seller and buyer. Payment term, I just explained some second ago that we have some different payment method, payment term or payment methods are the same. For example, you use Incoterm, but you can use open account as a method of payment. You can use remittance as a method of payment. You can use collection as a method of payment. So Incoterms do not determine payment terms. Look at the last one. Incoterm do not specify details of the transfer, who transfer good to whom. No. Just one certain rules they specify about that. For example, DPU, they state that DPU say that the exporter have to unload the goods. So remember, when you use Incoterm, you have to remember exactly about the contents of Incoterm. Okay, so now we answer the question, what about the purpose of Incoterms? What about the purpose of Incoterms? The purpose of Incoterms. Very important, right? 3 main purposes. Incoterms are used to divide transaction costs and responsibility between buyer and seller. For example, who bears the risk when load the goods, or who bears the risk when you unload the goods, or who buys the insurance, who rent the vessel, who take responsibility for transport agreement, a lot of different things. Where the second point is where is the risk passed from seller and to buyer? Where? The place, at port original or as destination. at port, a port, or at any place. For example, at house, at housework, at ice work, or at a terminal of the airport. So it is very important. They have to determine the point risk pass from seller to the buyer. And the last one is Incoterms are used to specify the point good delivered from seller to buyer. Maybe the goods will deliver at port of loading, or maybe at port of unloading. So it is they are purposes of Incoterms. And now, maybe this is the last content of our lesson today. Why are they important? They mean that Incoterms. Read all of them. Think about the explanation, and then I will explain the last one. Okay, look at the last one. Ensure common understanding of obligation. Hopefully, when next time on Thursday, your classmate explain about the rules. For example, CIF, CIP, FOB, we will understand. But very lucky for us that Incoterms explain a lot of terms and conditions. For example, when they use CIF, so it is very clearly to state who buy the insurance. We don't need to discussion. We do not need to discuss who pay for insurance. It is very clearly. So because very clearly under the term, under the rule. So it is very good for you, good for me, because we have a common understanding of obligation. That's why even Incoterms is not a law, but we are suggested that we should use in the sale contract because we can lessen the risk because we have a lot of common understanding. Our lesson today stop here, but before you leave the class, the monitor, can you, are you here, the monitor?
Yes.
Okay, can you check the attendance? Okay, so after checking attendance, you can leave the class. Don't forget to send me your presentation in Word and PowerPoint at least 6 hours before you present. Is that clear for you?
I have a
3
question.
groups?
Yes. We have a question. What is the limit on the number of word page? Please?
No, doesn't matter, but we don't have much time to present. That's why when you present, you have a maximum 10 minutes is maximum for presentation. And then I or your classmate ask you some question and you answer the question. So 20 minutes is maximum for each group. 10 minutes for presentation and 10 minutes for the listen to the question and answer the question. But We don't care about how many pages you prepare. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now please check attendance, please.
I have already done it.
Hello, monitor. Check attendance, please.
I have already done it.